Yes, indeed, powerful people. This is another episode of Breaking the Machine. I'm your host, Ahmad the Poet, alongside my partner, Spank the Bank.
What up, dog?
And today we be taking another incremental step in shifting the culture. Today is a special episode. We got the hometown hero, man. We got Jon Connor in the studio with us today, man.
Thank you. I am humbled by you saying the hometown hero. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Those who know, they know. You know, like, man, from the hometown, from the 810, man, like, you legendary in the city.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I used to, coming up, rapping, a lot of the supporters, they don't know, I used to rap back in the day. And that used to be something that everybody say in the city, like, man, ain't nobody ever made it, and then you be the first name to come out. No, Jon Connor, he got signed. And it'd be like, dang, that'd be the first thing people would say. So, yeah, your name is definitely legendary. But, you know, it's a lot of musical history, you know, behind all these years. But I actually wanted to get to something I saw you say in the interview.
Okay.
You went to Full Sail University?
Absolutely.
Man, listen, that was me and my homie dream.
Really?
To go to Full Sail University, that's crazy. Like, I was like, bro, went to Full Sail. How was that? Like, that's crazy. That's like the Harvard of art school.
Yes.
Like, that was our dream, bro. Like,
So, you know, what's funny, man, is, you know, I'm a little older now, 36. You know, I ain't afraid of my age. Because I ain't ashamed of my age because a lot of people ain't lived to see it. So I'm 36 years old. So
That's facts.
back when I was coming up and I graduated in 2003, I know that sound like ages ago for all of y'all that's listening, but it's crazy because Full Sail was Full Sail, but it wasn't as known as it is now because they got a lot of like publicity now, and they do work with WWE and they on TV and all of that stuff now. But back then, I had to find Full Sail in the back of the Source magazine and XXL magazine. Because at the time, and the funny thing about this, and I won't get too long-winded because I know y'all probably got a bunch of stuff to ask, and I tend to talk a lot. But I just want to make sure, you know, y'all get what y'all need. But so I remember my guidance counselor, I always knew that I wanted to make music, right? And I remember my guidance counselor being like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, you know, there's no schools that, you know, specialize in what you're looking for. So I went on a mad hunt, like just looking everywhere, just trying to find something that, you know, catered to what I was trying to do, which is do music professionally, right? So I'm looking in the back of the XXLs and I see Full Sail. And at first I didn't believe it was a school in Ohio, and then there was Full Sail. But so at this point, I'm not knowing, like, you know, Full Sail had these state-of-the-art, like, consoles and all of these different degree programs. I'm just seeing it as an ad in the paper. So, man, I ended up going to the orientation. I went to the one in Ohio, the music performing arts school in Ohio. It really wasn't for me. But then when I got to Full Sail, it was crazy because it was like I felt like I had unlocked this secret. Like, it's like, why don't everybody know about this? Why is this not publicized more? Because it was a dope campus then. It's crazy now. But it was like, you know, back then it was still building on. And I just remember, man, being just taken aback by how dope it was. It was really like an actual college. Like, it wasn't no BS. Like, it wasn't no hole in the wall. It was a actual campus, and you go in and you looking at all of these like different studios, and then you seeing all of the stuff that they got for video game design and film and all the other different degree programs they got. So going to Full Sail was dope, but it was kind of bittersweet, just because I didn't get to finish my degree program. So I went to Full Sail, but I didn't graduate from Full Sail because in the winter of 2003, my little cousin got in a car accident and died. Like, he actually died the day that we got out for winter break at Full Sail. So it was like you only got like 2 weeks for break. And it was like I couldn't recover from that in enough time to go back and focus. But Full Sail was dope because even though I may not have graduated, what it did teach me was how important networking and maintaining relationships was. Because even though I didn't graduate, it was a lot of people that I met at Full Sail that are still friends of mine to this day, and that I started my career with. My man Kevin Williams, down at Blue Room Studios in Atlanta. We started at Full Sail together. A lot of cats that I made my early music with, I started with at Full Sail, and we still friends today, and they actually still moving and shaking in the music industry. So it's like, even though I didn't get the degree program, I still learned. I didn't get to the degree, but I still learned the ultimate lesson: keep in contact with folks. Speak up, speak your mind. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself to people. These people that I'm talking about that ended up being influential in my career that I met at Full Sail, we met standing in line, like at orientation, or we met in class, or just was like, hey man, you do music, you do beats, you know what I'm saying? And we kept in contact with each other. So that was more important than getting the degree, because that was more true to life to what the music industry actually is staying in contact with people and building those relationships. And that's something that I learned at Full Sail.
Facts. I mean, I think it was the same thing with me when I went to college. It was just like the most important thing that you really get from it is the people that you know.
Yeah,
it's crazy, but people don't tell you about that
yeah,
part.
it's the networking, because by you saying that, I feel like that's why I'm more of an open person now, because I went to college. You know, it taught me how to speak more. It was kind of weird. Like, it really opened my mind to speak. I mean, it did. It's kind of crazy, yeah.
Absolutely, man. 110%. That was the most important thing, because a wise person once told me, networking is the most important thing, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not a likable person, ain't nobody gonna want to work with you. So it's like you got all of this talent, but if the word on you is such and such is a a-hole, you know what I'm saying, then you never get a chance to show that talent, because nobody will give you an opportunity. And so what I've learned in this business, man, is just being a likable person, knowing when to shut up, knowing when to be a sponge when you around older, wiser people, and just listening. Those are the things that's more important than any rhyme you could write or any beat that you could make, because even if your talent is not up to par or where it's supposed to be, if people like you, those that are more knowledgeable, you'll find favor with them, and they'll want to take the time to teach you. Like, if you don't know everything you need to know about Pro Tools or whatever little program or whatever, if somebody's wiser than you and they take a liking to you, they will sit down and be patient with you and walk you through it to get you to that point. Because that's what I've learned, that people just want to see other people win. People want to see people win that they feel like deserve it. So that's something that and big ups to Full Sail, Orlando, Winter Park. I can say that it taught me that part of the game early, that networking and being a likable person is probably the biggest part of this industry that make people want to help you. There's nobody in this business that ever made it 100% by theirself. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You need people at some point. You're going to need somebody who's a little further along than you to help you. And so just be a likable person. It's all, my teachers always used to say, it's a reason you got one mouth and two ears. You know what I'm saying? Always make sure you listen more than you talk. And if you talk, make sure you say something that's of some importance that, people are going to want to help you.
So when did you develop that skill set? The only reason I ask is because, like, a lot of times when we come from these inner cities like Detroit or from Flint especially, because we both know, like, when you come from that city, it's a closed-minded attitude. Like, I know right now it's, like, popular to be antisocial. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you come from, you can't trust nobody. You really don't go out your way to, like, say what's up to somebody walking in the street. You mean mug, you might, what's up, but you don't really say much.
Right.
But then when you in these different rooms, you off in college, you trying to network, you trying to elevate. How do you get out of that mindset of being antisocial and getting it on your own, just kind of being there, and then like, okay, I'm a businessman, I'm an entity in myself. I have to learn how to grow this. I have to learn how to become something bigger, because that mindset was for that environment, but I'm in a different environment now. Or did you have that, like, to begin with?
Yeah, man. For me, and I don't know how much people into they, zodiac signs and astrology and stuff, but I'm an Aries, so it's like we naturally like to come into the room and break the awkwardness. We like to just out the gate, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just something that was in me from birth. And then my mom's a talker and my dad's a talker. So it's like, which is real crazy, because it just as a person, aside from certain situations, I'm a pretty quiet person. But when there are situations within the industry or within the business, I like to break that silence. So for me, I've always been able to read rooms and know it's just like just shout outs to Joey Cool and Strange Music. I just came back from Kansas City, right? And we just shot a video for this joint on his album called Thomas Shelby. And when we were at the video, it was a whole bunch of extras there, right? But the extras just was kind of kicking back, chilling. Nobody was really talking to each other. And I'm looking like, man, we need to get this live a little bit. Everybody need to meet each other, know each other, whatever, because we all human at the end of the day. And then I went around to each table and started talking to everybody. And then after I did that, you started seeing everybody open up with each other a little more. Everybody, oh, what's your Instagram? What's your birthday? So I think that to answer your question is we have to remember that we're all human at the end of the day. And there are certain things about being human that will translate to anybody, no matter where you go. If you smile at somebody, you really got to go out of your way to not smile back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really, like, come on, man. Like, you feel me? Like, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, if I smile at you and you really just keep the mug on your face, like, bro, that's some internal things that you need to deal with. But it's certain just human aspects that's in all people, no matter what country, no matter what race, no matter what gender you are. If I smile at somebody, they're going to smile back. If I say, hey, how you doing today? You know, they're going to respond. So we have to stop tricking ourselves once we get into places of business and we start to forget that we're still human. Yes, we're in a work environment, but still it's in the confines of being a human being as well. So even though we're doing an interview right now, right? A lot of people, a lot of artists, they psych themselves out and they think interview. They're thinking of the word interview. I look at this as I'm having an interaction and I'm meeting two people. I don't look at it as an interview. It's like I'm having a conversation. I'm getting to meet people. So it's like we can trick ourselves and put extra pressure on ourselves with these certain words. If you just keep in mind and keep in perspective that this is all just humanity at the end of the day. Whether there's a mic in your face, a camera in your face or not, we're all just humans. Still just treat people like a human. Talk to me like you would talk if the cameras wasn't on. So I think for me, it was already in me because as Aries, we kind of outgoing people. But then also I keep in mind that we are just humans at the end of the day, man.
Hey, that's powerful. Because I be thinking that sometimes when I be reaching out to people, like, dang, should I just say, hey, man, come in the studio and have a conversation? I'm like, oh, I don't know how this going to go. Like, you just want to have a conversation.
But that's really what it is,
yeah,
though.
But it's like,
Yeah,
it really is. Like, that's
really
all we
is.
do is just have conversations. But, you know, it's just like the industry thing. Like, let's do an interview. But
Right.
I think that's crazy because that reminds me of my homeboy Jacob. That's him. He the one who come in the room and, like, lighting it up and, like, hey, man, you talking to him? And I think it's a skill set, too. Because it's like certain people, it's like, I want to, but I don't know if it'll come off the right way.
Skill set and confidence.
Yeah, skill set, confidence, and just really that feeling of love. Like, you know what it feel like to be in that room where it's so much silence and it irritates everybody. And it's like, man, somebody got to be the hero and break the silence. I'm going to do that. Even if it makes me look a certain type of way, I'm going to break that silence so everybody can feel comfortable. And it might make me feel uncomfortable to make everybody comfortable, but somebody got to do it. But I also wanted to ask you about, like, what got you, like, what was that thing that got you the hip-hop bug? You know what I'm saying? Like, for you to actually want to pursue this full time.
I want to know who inspired you.
You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when I was making music, when I was rapping, it was like Lil Wayne. Like, just hearing the different lyrics that he put together, I wanted to say something that everybody was like, dang, why didn't I think of that? So, like, in the beginning, what was it for you? Was it, like, that whole competitive element of, like, really knocking people over the head? Like, dang, how did he come up with that? Or was it just kind of just the element of, like, your favorite artist and you wanted to be just like them?
Man, I have to give all credit when it comes to what gave me the hip-hop bug. Is my sister Chantel. Like, she was the one that was on hip hop before I was. Like, I was just a fan of music. My father's a musician, so I grew up listening to, you know, soul music, Bobby Womack, Zapp, Gap Band, Earth, Wind and Fire. Like, these were the things early, and even I would listen to everything because I went to private school. So it's like so when I was at school, it was predominantly white kids, so they was listening to alternative rock and techno, right? And then when I would get home and I went to the hood, they was listening to street stuff, and you know what I'm saying, and my dad. So it was just a whole eclectic mix of music that was influenced me at an early age. But it's like my sister, I give her all credit because she was just hip hop down to the core. From when we was little, she was listening to Salt and Pepper, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and the Fresh Prince. She was listening to the Brat. She was listening to Tupac. She was listening to Biggie, Dre, Snoop, like MC Breed, Dayton Family.
She was really in.
Oh man, she was. Man, y'all got an artist too, and I always like to shout her out. And if ever she hears this, man, I need her to know. I need her to get her flowers. Y'all had an artist in Detroit named Boss, and she was so dope. I don't know if y'all up on Boss, but she had a song called Deeper. Man, my sister played that tape out, and that's what, these were the things that got me focused on hip hop. I was hearing it, but what did it was one day my sister came home and she had the TRU Masterpiece CD. It was called True to the Game, and the first time I heard No Limit Soldiers was what made me want to rap. That was, I don't know what happened. It was a moment in time. First time I heard them keys on No Limit Soldiers, and I'm busting me lokes, and I'm hitting them down with jokes, niggas on the ropes. It was like, man, this is crazy. And then when I started like researching the backstory of Master P and No Limit, I just thought it was so dope that there was this black man who created his own label, who had all these artists from his city. And y'all got to remember at the time in 96, 97, New Orleans was not like popping in hip hop. So it was like he put New Orleans on his back and was like, I got my sound, I do my thing, and I'm going to do it my way. And that is what inspired me. It was the music mixed with the story, mixed with actually watching it happen, like watching every month No Limit dropping these CDs and albums and watching him go from where you seen him started from to being selling 100 million records or whatever it was. I think No Limit is what did that for me. I like Southern hip hop is what inspired me the most to actually become a rapper. But my sister is who I got to give all credit to for making me really love hip hop like that, because she was on it before I was.
I want to know, like, how do you create a song?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you make it, like, when it's done, you know, it's harmonized, you know, everything is sounding, you know, the rhymes are sounding good. Like, how do you create a song? Like, what's your pattern of creating a song?
Man, I give all praise and glory to the Most High, man, because I don't write my lyrics down. I haven't wrote lyrics down since 2010, 2011, because it was like the lyrics were coming faster than my hand could write them, you know, so my creative process it starts with the music. So if I'm producing a beat, I just go and start playing around on the keys or whatever, and then something will hit me, a vibe will hit me, and then the words are coming and the song structure is coming as I'm playing whatever I'm playing, and then I start to hear the whole record in my head. So then when it comes to actually the lyrical part of it, now that I have the music done, to me the music is already providing me the emotion, right? Mm-hmm. And now I'm just trying to find the words that will convey the emotion that I'm hoping people get from the music.
Now, are you rapping from like experience?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Because like when it's off the head, it's all through like experience.
Yeah, you know what, man? I seen Lil Wayne said it one time. He said, you know, when you writing lyrics down, it's almost like you're an actor trying to play a role, or like you're memorizing a script.
Right.
But when you don't write anything, this is literally coming from your spirit. This is literally your spirit reacting to the music. And that's how I look at it. I look at it like the music is doing all of the work, and then spiritually I'm just reacting to the emotions that this music is giving me. So then as soon as the words, they just start coming, it's crazy. Like, I guess it would kind of look nuts if somebody seen it happening.
No, it's really one of the dopest experiences, because when you listen to songs, you hear them on the radio, like, what type of zone this person was in to make this beautiful song.
Yeah, man.
You know,
like I love seeing people's creative processes, man. It's like, yes, but mine is the music's there, cut the music on, and then the words just start coming out of nowhere. And I can't say coming out of nowhere. The words are given to me by the Most High. Whatever I'm supposed to say is being given to me, like, you know what I'm saying, by virtue of what I'm feeling from the emotion of the music. So it's like, but man, I remember sitting with Dre one time, and I asked him one time in the studio, because I felt like I should write it down. Just when I got to Dre, I'm like, he gonna think I'm unprepared if I walk in here and I don't have a pen and paper. You feel me? But I was like, it felt so foreign to me at that point to write stuff down. And I just looked at him. I was like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, man, I don't write raps. And then he just looked at me and smiled, and he was like, I've seen this done so many ways. There's no wrong way to do this. He said, do it how you do it, and then we'll figure it out. And then from that point on, man, you know, it was dope that somebody that's of that legendary status was like, nah, it's no right or wrong way to do this. So do what you do and let the world catch up with you. But it's coming from the Most High, man. It's the music first for me, and then the words come just from a divine source, man.
Because the reason I asked the inspiration is, and it's crazy that you answered that, No Limit, is because you started your record label at 14?
Yes.
All Varsity Music, and I'm like, what inspired him to do that? You know, and then for you to say Master P,
Yeah,
I'm like, okay,
P.
that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
It was P, man. It's old pictures where I got on one side of my wall it was No Limit, the other side of my wall it was Cash Money. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was the No Limit, just that independent spirit. And to this day, I love watching old No Limit and Cash Money interviews, because one thing about them, and I think that resonated with me, was there wasn't a time where they didn't believe in themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could find old Cash Money videos where they were still in the Magnolia or New Orleans or wherever, But Birdman had the same confidence then that he has now. And you can watch old Master P interviews, and it's the same confidence then as he has now. So to me, what resonated as a child was it starts with the belief in yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you believe it, then you let the world catch up to you. You know, everybody ain't going to understand. Everybody's not going to rock with your vision out the gate.
How you deal with that? I better cut you off.
No, you good, bro. Please do. If I start rambling.
No. Well, how do you deal with that, though? People dealing with people. Try not to be a people pleaser, because people not going to understand your vision. So how do you continue to keep it going?
Well, in the beginning, like I said, it started with just confidence, and I've always had the ability to block people out. I've never really cared too much about someone's perception of what I was doing. You know, because I always felt like I know what I'm doing and I'm confident in what I'm doing. So anything that doesn't coincide in a positive way with what I'm thinking about, I don't even entertain the conversation. I remember when I was a kid, this is how deep it was in me, man. I drew a picture. And then there was a friend and I drew it exactly how I meant to draw it. Now, this is a picture of something that was from my imagination, right? And then there was this other kid, and he was like, no, I know how you meant to draw it. And I got so mad. It's like, how you going to tell me what I meant to draw? And, like, that was always in me. Like, nobody could tell me how my path is going to go. I'm going to believe in myself. And I think I seen, and I'm always quoting people, like I say, that are far wiser. Man, I seen one time, I think it was LeBron James said, to be successful, your belief in yourself has to be 10 times greater than everybody else in the room disbelief in you. Think about that. So that means that if you don't believe in me, you don't believe in me, she don't believe in me, I got to believe in myself 10 times more than you, whoever in the room. Your belief has to outweigh the disbelief of everybody in the room. That's how much you have to believe in yourself. So for me, it's just anything that's not positive or not in the direction of where I'm trying to go. I've never had a problem of blocking it out or saying, yo, I don't want to have this conversation, or yo, no, I feel what I feel and that's where I'm going with it. And I think that those people that have become successful have all had that quality. Whether it's Master P, whether it's Birdman, whether it's Kanye West, all of these people have a belief in themselves that won't waver, man.
And I want to ask you, like, what was that moment that you, like, put you on, at least in the city, you know? Because I remember the first time, at least one of the first times that I remember hearing your name, Mateen Cleaves that came up to our school. I was going to international at the time. And he was just chopping it up with us, and then he was like, yeah, my man John, he just signed. And then everybody was like, hold on. And that's when I first really got into your story, when he said that. So I really wanted to know how you met Mateen, like how y'all even got close, and like what was that whole process like, that first moment that really put you on, like, in the city? Yes,
dope story. So me and Mo Cleaves met because I was performing at this bar called The Loft downtown in Flint. Shouts to Rodney. I was in The Loft, and I would be performing at The Loft like all the time. Like whenever anybody had a show or an open mic, I was there. You know what I mean? So the funny part about it is on this particular night, man, it was probably only like 10, 12 people at The Loft, right? And one of those 10, 12 people was Mo Cleaves and his brother Ali. Shouts to Ali, shouts to Mo Cleaves. So I'm in there, I'm going hard. But every time I ever perform, and that's just something for young artists to know too, every time you perform, you never know who in the building. So don't ever treat anything like, oh, this ain't nothing, or I could just kind of go light. Nah, go hard every time. Because it was only 13 people in there, and I was going hard like I was at the Grammys or something, right? And then I remember Ali Cleaves came up to me and he was like, man, you Jon Connor? And I'm like, yeah. He like, man, my brother been looking for you. And I'm like, word? And I'm like, who your brother? And he took me to Mo Cleaves. Mo Cleaves, you know, he cool. He sitting up against the wall just playing it. And it was like first he wasn't really paying me no attention like that. And his brother was like, yo, this Jon Connor. And his eyes lit up and he like, you Jon Connor? He like, man, I've been looking for you, because I had people in the streets like giving my CDs away. Like they would go, like my street team would go in the barber shops and pass my CDs out. I remember at the time when there was a FYE, like, or any music store, I would just put my CDs in there and I would ask the people at the different stores, like, anytime somebody buy a rap CD, can you put one of these Jon Connor CDs in their bag for free? So my music has started spreading throughout the city, and Mo Cleaves got one of my albums, The Calling Part 1, at a barbershop. So he had always been looking for me but couldn't find me because, bro, I don't shy away from it. I was born in the hood and raised in the hood, but I never been a street dude. I ain't never sold a drug in my life. Like, I always been a music dude. So I was always just in the studio all the time. I wasn't never just out and about. So he couldn't find me because I wasn't never nowhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just always making music. So he ended up finding me that night at the loft, and I'll never forget it. And I love him for life for it because he was like, yo, I know it when I see it. He said, and he was like, you got it. He said, you supposed to be on TV. He said, and I'm going to help you get there. And at the time, bro, I took it with a grain of salt because I had been lied to so much and been through so much ups and downs and people giving you fake promises and all of that. And he was like, man, I'm going to come pick you up tomorrow and we're going to go kick it. And at the time, I'm like, yeah, right. He ain't really going to come. Called me bright and early. He had a autograph signing that he was supposed to go to. Came, picked me up in the white Benz, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was like from that point on, he was a man of his word. And it was like he never asked me for no money, like, or nothing like that. It was, I believe in you, you from Flint, and I'm not going to stop until we get you to a certain point where people know who you are. And when I deal with young artists to this day, Mo Cleaves was the blueprint for how I look at young artists, where it's like I don't expect nothing from them. It's like, thank me by making it. You know, thank me by hard work. Thank me by being on time. Thank me by being in the studio and grinding your butt off, because that's how me and Mo Cleaves' relationship was, where he never asked me for nothing but that spirit to go hard and not give up on myself. So I love that dude for life, man.
That's crazy, because that's a conversation we have a lot. Like, really, like, OGs, they really can impact you in such a crazy way, especially if you open to it and they extend that hand sometimes. Like, it's like,
it's
sometimes,
much easier.
Yeah, like sometimes,
you need that boost.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You want to meet in the middle sometimes, but a lot of these young cats, they not at that level where they can meet you in the middle. It's like you got to extend your hand. Man, I'm about to pull up on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's next level. But that new record that you dropped, To Whom It May Concern.
Yeah.
That, man, I'm talking about.
You.
I'm trying to say, I got some questions about that.
Absolutely.
Yes,
ask me whatever, man. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
I'm telling you, that was like, when we talk about realist music, I don't think I heard a song that real. I don't know, man.
You really
like
poured,
Dreams and Nightmare, like it was on some.
Pour your heart out.
I'm dead serious. Like, I was like, whoa, and it was kind of like knowing the story on the back end, like behind the scene, and I mean, like on the outside, and then for you to like really, I was like, man, this is
That's
crazy.
That's why I asked you, like, how do you block, people off?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to know, like, I'm hearing you rap. Are them just thoughts? Like I'm trying to answer this question.
As you getting it together too, I want to make sure I say, because you said, how do I block people out? And for the people listening, like, just always remember, it's all about feeling good. If something makes you feel good, keep doing that. If something makes you feel bad or negative, stop doing it. So that's with everything. Like, if a person is making you feel awkward, you don't need to be around them. If a conversation is making you, that little butterfly feeling, or when you feel like you got to defend yourself in a conversation, it's like, yo, it's time to stop having this conversation. I only want to be involved with things that make me feel happy or empowered or trigger my brain into thinking about ideas or positive things. So that's what helps me. It's like, I feel like the Most High gave us emotion as kind of a compass as to where we supposed to be going. Okay, something is feeling good, I'm supposed to go that way. Something feeling bad, I'm supposed to back off and go the other way. Sometimes we indulge or we keep going in stuff that makes us feel bad just for the sake of,
I heard that's what anxiety is. It's just.
I was just about to say that.
It's when you have anxiety, that means something's wrong.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to fix it. Like, hold on, this is not right. I got anxiety because this is not right.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the right way to go? Yeah, that's true. That's crazy.
You feel me? So that's use your moral compass. Use your inner compass of, okay, this is making me feel good. I'm going to keep doing that. I don't like what you talking about. Let me get away from you. But go ahead. You was about to ask me to whom it may concern.
Oh, yeah. So basically, when did you realize that a lot of things were just thoughts? And there wasn't a reality. There were just thoughts.
I kind of picked up on that too. It's like sometimes it's like you got the mind of a man now, but now you kind of reciting like the minds of like a younger man, and it's like now you can see it different. Like the thoughts was this way, but now I can see they like this. Yeah. And I'm telling you what led me like this because those were the thoughts of a younger man. Now I'm an older man, and like this is what it is. Yeah. And I think that's powerful.
Appreciate it. I think, man, it comes with age. Hopefully, you grow to a space where you learn to take accountability. And I think for me,
that helped me. Yes, yeah, that's the hard. I think that is the hardest hump to get over.
Ain't it?
Cause you don't know that you weren't being accountable.
Oh my God,
you
bro!
really
I
don't.
gotta give you love because you don't know.
You don't know. It's like you think you know, but you don't.
But you don't.
Like I called him this morning. I woke up and just reflect. Like, oh, I gotta change the way I'm living, bro. I want to live more righteous. You know what I'm saying? Cause I like how you just said 36. I want to see 36. Like being a black man and from the city. You know, you get scared of. There'd be a lot of death going on. Like even that's why I turn off my phone because like even like the Dolph situation, the stuff that's going on at Oxford, it's so much death. And a lot of stuff be so close to home. You just be like, man, I want to see 36.
Absolutely, that's why, man.
I want to see 80.
Yes, man. People be ashamed of their age. Man, I'm 36. A lot of my homies, man, they did not see it.
It's a lot of people I know they make my age. I'm 26. I know a lot of people that didn't make 26. And you just
Facts.
You're like, damn. You know, I'm in survival mode right now, which I hate, you know, but like you said, I just definitely want to keep going and seeing life.
Yeah, man. And just to go in on what you were saying too, like accountability is so crazy, and that To Whom It May Concern song is definitely just me being accountable. It was definitely me reflecting on just my journey as a whole, and just a lot of times where, like you said, in those moments you don't know. Can I curse on here?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you don't know that you full of shit. And, you know what I'm saying? And
it's sloppy as hell.
Yeah, it's sloppy as hell, bro.
Man.
Like I had a moment of clarity. I've had a lot of moments of clarity in my life, but it was one where I woke up one day and like, oh my God, I'm full of shit.
Man.
Like I did, like when dealing, like, you know, I had the line where I said my girl, she was cheating. But I deserved it because I'm juggling 3. She feel like she competing. I say I love her and now she don't see it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, back in them days, I'm so embarrassed and ashamed of how I behaved back then because I would be dealing with a girl and then dealing with another girl, but then you wrong if I think that you doing it. What? It's like I'm wrong. I'm full of shit. How can I ask somebody to do something that I'm not doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of those moments in that song where it's like I look and I reflect, and I hope for those people that lived that part of my life with me that they get that from that record where it's almost like an apology, and it's almost like, yo, thank you for saying that. The truth sets you free,
bro. Like you said, I know I've been living sloppy, man. I don't like it. You feel me? I'm like, damn, bro, I gotta get my life together. Like you said, I'm full of shit.
Yes, we have those moments where you have to be like, yo, and you got to check yourself, but there's nothing wrong with it because, you know, none of us are perfect. You know, it's a, you know, like they say, man, it's a difference between sinning and living in sin, right? We all gonna sin because ain't none of us perfect, but once you know you sinning and then you make the decision to live in it, then that's when it becomes wrong because now you're every day waking up and you're content with doing wrong. Like now, okay, we all gonna make mistakes, you know, that's expected. None of us are perfect. So for me, To Whom It May Concern was like, you know, in the Catholic Church they have confession, you know, when you go and confess.
Which I wish we had. I'll do that more. I feel like as older I get, I'm like, damn. Wish I could go tell the priest everything.
Everything,
bro,
right?
I'm out here living crazy.
You feel me? So that record was my confessional. You know, it was like me being like, let me get this off because I'm not a perfect person. I don't never play a victim or nothing like that. It's like I take accountability for the times I was wrong, and I expect other people to do the same. But in that particular record, it was needed also because I felt like I wanted to close a certain chapter on my career. Yeah. Because it's like you know, there was my underground years and everything that led up to the aftermath days. And it's like I went through a lot with all of that. So it's like, for me, it's like I want to give the people that are fans of my music the closure and clarity. Because a lot of people, what happened? We want to know. They felt cheated. You know, with a lot of things that if they followed me from a certain point and then it got to a certain point and then from their perspective, it was like, what happened? So I felt like I owed my fan base because I call myself the people's rapper because I am an open book, and it was like confessing, and it was to give them closure, and it was also to open that new chapter, be like, okay, y'all, now let's go. We putting all of that to rest, and we starting all the way over, clean slate. So let's go and let's hit the ground running again, man.
It's crazy because that's the exact energy that I got from that song. I was like,
Me
dang,
too,
he
yeah.
put it all in. He put it all in it. I was like, he putting it behind him.
You know,
It's like, it's like that's the last. I think the last step of forgiveness and really is like acknowledging your part. I think that's the last. I don't know like how what they say in like a 12-step program, but I know there's somewhere in there. Like I don't know if that's the first step or last step, but it's like acknowledging like, yeah, I had a part in this. Let me say it, and then like, or my thoughts might not have been the way that I was thinking about it the wrong way, because that was powerful. Because we had a conversation on another episode with this brother David McCullough. He owns the world's first mental health gym, Inception, and we was having a conversation about just silence, you know what I'm saying? And you touched on that in a part of the song, just talking about how you was going through different trials and tribulations, and you really just couldn't get that direct access to Dr. Dre, and it was kind of like you might have perceived it the wrong way. And then we was having a conversation with David, and he was saying like, I experienced the same thing. We all was saying like we experienced the same thing. He was like, man, me and Charlamagne were supposed to do something. The only reason I say this because he said it on the show. Like, me and Charlamagne were supposed to do something. He ain't hit me up for like a year. And then like a year later, he randomly called me like, hey man, remember that project? Let's do it. And it's just like sometimes silence can feel like it's like a million things when it's like it's really nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or it's really just something completely different.
Man, them goddamn thoughts, boy.
Yeah,
but they just thoughts.
Just thoughts.
But they can. Man, they
idle
can
mind
kill
is
your
a devil's
mind.
plaything,
Bro,
man. People don't understand that.
They just thought that song, like I said, I love it because, like you said, accountability. And then, like I said, I be having thoughts in my head, and I just feel like shit. But just to hear that, you to put your flaws on the table, it helps brothers like me.
Man, that's
like for
love.
real, like now
I
feel relieved. Like I ain't the only one out here that's just trying to figure it out and fucking up.
And a part of it was like
love.
a part of it
real.
even sound like character flaw, like a good thing that's just like it can hurt them. Because I remember on the song you said I'm the product of loyalty, and it's just like, man, loyalty will get you hurt so bad in this game, but it's just like I can't hurt it. I'm the product of this. Like I was brought up on it, I was raised. It's in me. It's in my very being.
Is that a bad way to be raised though?
It's like it's a character flaw. It's like
it can be. You know what? I think it's just like anything in life, like right, like you asked, is loyalty a bad way to be raised? Red meat can be a good thing if you work out every day and put the protein in the right places, and it can be a bad thing if you just sit on your butt and eat red. You know what I'm saying? So anything in life, it just all depends on, with this particular thing we're talking about loyalty, who are you being loyal to? Did they earn that loyalty? I think that a lot of times we get taught to just such and such from my hoods, but I'm loyal to him. But he grimy as shit,
man.
And he set my cousin up, but I'm supposed to not. You know what I'm saying? How am I supposed to stay loyal to these things that aren't loyal back to me? And I think that with loyalty, I don't think it's a bad way to be raised up. I think it's dope. I think that's actually one of the endearing qualities of us all being from Michigan. I think that's a Michigan thing. Now we just real, we loyal. You know what I'm saying? And but we can be loyal to a fault. So I think it's just like with anything else. I think loyalty is a beautiful thing if you're being loyal to something that's being loyal back to you.
I mean, in that part of the song, I was just like, dang, because that's real, Like, even going through these trials and tribulations, we was having a conversation this morning, and I was just saying, like, it's a part of growth, I think. It's a part of growth, just recognizing, like, hey, man, wrong is wrong, right is right. But I think it's like that's my hill to die on. Everybody has their hill to die on. It's like, man, yeah, I'm loyal to a fault. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it like this, regardless of however it may fall on the opposite side of the 8 ball. So but that song was it was so real. There's so many gems in it. And
before you go on, I just want to say about the loyalty thing. So all young artists listening to this, if anybody tries to separate you from the people you started with, do not be around them. That is what I hope people get from that part of the song, because I just want to make sure, because y'all, this platform is dope, and I just want to make sure, because we talked on the way in about each one teach one. So as we go from topic to topic, it's just certain points that I want to make sure I say. There was so many times when I was coming up that people would try to get in my ear and separate me and Mo Cleaves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we parted ways now, but it was on our own terms, and it's still love. But it was back in the day when we were first coming up, it would be people in my ear saying, oh, Mateen only knows about basketball. What does he know about music? You really going to trust your career in that? Yes, I am. Because he helped me when I ain't had nothing. Yep. I am. So like you said, heels to die on. Like that's what it was when me and Mo Cleese partnered up with Kendall Freeman out of New York. Man, he done a lot of crazy things in his business. He was the vice president of Maybach Music, and we linked up with him. It was times where people was in my ear. Kendall's only done things at this level, or Mo's only done things. It's like, what? No, he got me here. I wouldn't be talking to you if, you know what I'm saying? This is how I'm looking at them. I wouldn't be sitting here with you if it wasn't for them. So how you asking me now that I'm here with them to say, excuse the language, fuck them, and now I'm supposed to just roll with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? That was crazy to me. But that conversation happened more times than not, like in my career, where people would pull me to the side. Well, you think this is a good idea? Or you think, I know Mo's your friend. I know he's your brother. I know this and that. But, maybe it's time for you to, nah. And by you trying to separate me from them, that's showing me a character flaw within you. So by you saying that about them is making me look at you. It's not making me look at them in no type of way. It's making me look at you like, these are the people that believed in me when I didn't have nothing. These are the people that believed in me when I was in my mama's basement, when I was performing in front of 12 people, and this man said, I see something in you. So now the only reason you was able to see that in me is because he believed in it. And now you saying I should leave them? Nah, that's showing me something about you, and I need to get away from you. So that was the part of that song, and that's just something I wanted to tell young artists. Whoever that dude is, your little cousin or your big cousin that believed in you from the time you used to be rapping in your mama's basement or whatever, in your mama's living room, or whoever that person is, your homegirl in high school that always was telling you you could do it and she believed in you, the one that used to even see through if you had flaws or whatever, if you're trying to be an actor, doctor, lawyer, rapper, I don't care what it is. It's always, God always put them angels in your life that believe in you when everybody telling you should give up, when everybody saying, oh, it ain't gonna work out, or it's only 1 in a million. It's always that one homie or homegirl that believe in you more than anything. It is. Stick by them. Keep listening to them. I don't care how much money somebody got. I don't care. The money gonna come. The money gonna come because y'all believe in the vision. That's it, point blank, period. People with money can only give you money, and when the money gone, they gone. So the thing is, people that believe in the vision, they gonna always believe whether you broke or you got $1 million, dog. So whoever believe in your vision, stick with them to the end, period, point blank.
That's good. My question is, what is success to you?
Man, success. I just went on a Twitter rant last night talking about what success was to me, man. Success is being able to create music and help people, being able to feed myself and my family and raise some little ones based off of the hard work that I put in with music. Success is feeling love and giving love. That's success, because there was times in my life, bro, where I had every material thing I thought I ever wanted and was still miserable. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm looking at everything that I thought I could never have when I was broke in the hood in Flint, and then I had it and I was still miserable because I didn't feel love. I didn't feel like, no, this is at a time, so at certain points when I was out in California working, where I felt like there's nobody around me that knows me, nobody around me that loves me, nobody around me cares. I could be the biggest artist in the world or I could die tomorrow. They don't give a shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's something about making it with the people that love you. It don't mean nothing to be on a private jet if it's all strangers on the jet with you. But when it's you, your cousin and y'all talking about when y'all used to get whoopings and y'all on the private jet, like, nigga, remember we used to get whooped? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what, you see how you see how it just made all of us smile?
That's what you want.
You feel me?
That's what you want.
That's the vision.
A battery.
You feel me?
You need something to keep you charged.
Come on, man.
You need something to
That's
keep you
success.
charged.
Looking up, all the material stuff is cool, but I didn't been in like on secluded islands and there's nobody that I know there. So I'm calling the homies like, man, I wish you was here, bro. Or I'm calling my girl from I remember the time I sat and had dinner with Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, and Jimmy Iovine, right? And that was so dope. But when I got back to the hotel, I was just by myself. And it ain't no worse feeling when you happy about something and you calling one of the homies and they don't answer and you like, dang, they probably having more fun and I want to share the fun I had, but ain't nobody there to share it with you. So to me, success is achieving your goal and being surrounded by love and people that love you. That's it, man. What success is whatever you set for yourself, whatever goal you want to get to, but just make sure it's surrounded by love, man.
I want to know what you learned in that dinner table, though. That's 3 knowledgeable people. I want to know what you learned at that dinner table.
Man, it was so crazy. It was insane, bro. I mean, I never, people's rapper thing ain't a gimmick. I'm gonna keep it real, cause I was just like y'all. I'm like, man, what? I'm about to go eat with Jay and I'm about to go eat with Hove and Dre and Jimmy. The way it happened was funny too, bro. Like, the night before, and this is a slight flex, but I'm not trying to flex. But the night before, we had, the night before we had just had dinner. It was me, Dre, Jimmy, and Mary J. Blige, which was crazy. She's a beautiful human being as well. But I remember sitting there, and Dre was like, "Yeah, you ever met Jay?" And I was like, "Z?" And then he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Nah." And then he just looked at me and was like, "Yeah, all right." And I knew what that meant because when he introduced me to Eminem, he did the same thing. We sitting back in the trailer. You ever met Marshall? I said, no. And he was like, yeah, all right. And then,
got his voice.
You know what I mean?
I was going to say, that's spot on.
So, yeah, man, it's all tones, man. People's vocal tones, I pick up on them. I always joke around with my crew and say, I get paid for my ears, man. But so Dre like, all right. So I remember I ran in on the way back to my hotel. I ran into two of Dre's bodyguards, and they used to always mess with me, right? What up, Connor? Blah, 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 whatever the case. So I'm thinking they just messing with me. And he was like, one of the bodyguards was like, so you ready for that dinner tomorrow? And I was like, what dinner tomorrow? He was like, you and Jay-Z and Dre. And I was like, I'm not going to no dinner with Jay and Dre. Like, I'm like, why am I there? Like, what? I'm like, they probably about to talk about some old boss crazy shit, some Apple title shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, why would I be invited to this dinner, right? Wake up the next morning, it was no joke. They like, Mr. Freeman, come down. Okay, we ready. And first of all, let me set the scene for y'all. I'm a kid from Flint. I ain't never seen no shit like this, right? I get downstairs, is 3 black SUVs in front of me, is 3 black SUVs in back of me, like I'm traveling with the president. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm tripping. Nigga, I call my mama. I'm like, mama. I'm like, this crazy. I'm like, this is so nuts. So we get to the dinner. And to set the scene for you, so it's a round table, and then it's me, and it's Dre, and his then wife Nicole. There's the general manager Aftermath, Ashley. There's Jimmy's wife, Jimmy, and then there's 2 empty seats, right? And I was thinking like, man, Dre brought his wife, Jimmy brought his wife. I'm like, man, Jay-Z wife is Beyonce. Man. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, though. I'm like, I'm already tripping that Hove about to come. So the idea that Beyonce could be in that other seat, man, I went to the bathroom. I did the whole 8 Mile thing, splashed water on my face. I'm like, man, you got to relax. I'm like, you got to relax. So, but it's just funny in that moment. But what I learned from that dinner, and it was so crazy because I just remember the crazy part is we don't think about stuff like this, is what their everyday life is like. You know, walking into that restaurant with Dre, and there was a big window by the table we were sitting at, and I'm talking about people just lining up by the window trying to take pictures. The bodyguards got to get them away from and you know what I'm saying? And I remember behind me, I just hear, if it ain't the good doctor. And I was like, yo, that's Hove. Yeah. I'm like, this is crazy. But the thing that I learned from that dinner as because I learned from being around Dre every day, but just certain the things at that table, like I remember Hove just I remember him giving me the look and just being like, so where you from? And I'm like, I'm from Flint, Michigan. And he's like, all right. And then he like, only you could fuck this up, right? And I took that as, you know what I'm saying, you in control of your own destiny. You got to this table and then after that, I'll tell y'all what Dre said to me, what I learned. He was like, yeah, you know that table everybody always talking about? You know how niggas talk about they want to sit at the table? Well, you was just sitting at it, so act like it. And that hit me in my heart. It was like, grow up. Not that I was ever like immature or irresponsible, but it was like you were at a table. At that moment, I was at the most important table in all of the music industry. Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, and Jay-Z. It was no more important table at that moment than where I was sitting. So it was like there were things about me, like I said, that I did need to grow up from. Like I said, I was a very naive and I trusted everybody too fast. It was like, okay, I need to do some work on that. It was like I say, in my personal life, it was work I need to do. I just immediately started checking myself like, wow, like okay, I got to this table because of a certain level of knowledge, but to keep being around these caliber of people, there are certain things that you need to fix internally. There are certain things that you need to tighten up on and make. And now owning my own company, it's like I put all of that into motion. I put all of the things that I learned from at that table and other tables that I've sat at. I use that just every day. I think back and reflect on those things and make sure that I act like I was the guy that was sitting at the table with Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, and Jimmy Iovine. You know what I'm saying? Handle your business. Make sure you're on time. Have a certain level of professionalism. Make sure if you do a feature with somebody, you give your all. Treat every show like it's your last show. Treat every show like it's the Grammys. Don't shortchange your fan base. It's all of those things. Like, you know what I'm saying? That when he said, so act like it. It's like, if this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life, treat it like that. Treat it like it's going to feed generations of your family. Don't treat hip hop like it's bullshit. Dre used to always say, if you be good to her, she'll be good to you, talking about hip hop. So it's like, that's what he meant when he said, so act like it. It was like, okay, now it's time to go from just I'm an artist and I'm happy to be here to now, if you at a table with bosses, act like a boss and act like this is what's going to feed your family for the rest of your life, man.
Man.
Powerful.
Yeah, that was powerful, man. And it also made me think about, you know, power and being humble. Because, like, when you at a table like that with, you know, powerful people, it's like you can make people feel a certain type of way. I heard Charlamagne talk about on the Breakfast Club, like, you got to know what your presence does to the room. And it's kind of like what you spoke on earlier. Like, when you're in the room, you're trying to make sure everybody good, like, that your presence doesn't, like, make somebody feel inadequate. And I think that's what you was, you know, referring to when Jay, you know, referred to you and he, you know, he's chopping it up with you, just letting them know, like, I know you probably see me as this, but let's, you know, like, really. And is that something that you do? Obviously, it's something that you do, like, at this stage, like, when you in a room, you just make people know, like, man, it's all good. Like, I don't want nobody to be stressing about my presence.
Yes, absolutely. The thing that I've learned from super duper successful people is that they're normally really down to earth people. The thing that I dislike the most about going through this game is when people get a little bit of money and they start treating people weird. It's like, it's crazy. Like, it's like certain cats that I met that got like a couple $1 million or whatever, and because they ain't never had nothing, they feel like that's a pass to treat people like shit. And then I met people that's touching $1 billion and billions of dollars, and these are the most down to earth people that I ever met in my life. So it's like, y'all got the game fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's like the people that keep succeeding, like those people that get to a certain level, they kind of cap off because it's like, you know, like they use, like I say, money as an excuse to be a shitty person, or it just exposes that they were already shitty people, you know. But yes, I think for me, that's one thing that I learned as well. Just always be humble, always be down to earth. It goes back to what we was talking about earlier. It's all in the realm of humanity. No matter how much money you get, guess what? We, like the old folks say, you can't take none of it with you. I am a believer of spiritual currency. No matter how much money or earthly possessions I get, how I treat somebody, how I made somebody feel, that would make me feel the way that an average person feels about $1 million or $100 million. When I see smiles on faces, that make me feel good, like I got $100 million. So I'm all about spiritual currency, leaving that impression on people. And like we said, it never stops. If you make people feel good and you impressing people in the room with your demeanor and how you carry yourself, they're going to want to help you. There's never going to come a time where you're not going to need somebody's help. I was around Dr. Dre for 5 years. Guess what? He still needed help when he sat up in those Beats headphone meetings. There was a whole team of people at Beats. It wasn't just Dre. There was a whole team of people. I watched him write television shows, but guess what? There was a team of writers as well there. Okay, when we in the studio, yes, he's Dr. Dre, but there's a team of writers and a team of musicians. How do you get these people to believe in your vision? If you are a good person and you treat people right to begin with. So yes, to me, that is very important that whenever I walk in a room, that I'm not looked at as Jon Connor, the artist, whatever people think of me. Man, I'm Jan Freeman that came out of Mahalia Freeman. I'm from Flint, Michigan, and I'm a person just like you a person. And so that's what I like to establish when I walk into every room, man, is that we humans first, man.
And you just, I don't know if I'd say you recently revamped all Varsity music, but it's like, what does that mean to you at this stage? Like, to have that, like, I know when you got, like, a name or when it's yours, like, this podcast, like, it's ours. Like, when I rep it, it's just like, man, feel different. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got a shirt with the label on it, it just feel different. Like, what does that make you feel right now, having your own have your own
blood, sweat, and tears.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? Blood, sweat, and tears. It just, Man, it means to me the rebirth, man, of Jon Connor. It's almost like a second chance. It's almost like it represents so much to me because I have been through so much and I didn't let any of the negativity beat me or defeat me. So it's like I feel like with my first run, like up until this point, there was so much that I didn't enjoy. I feel like I was majority, like a lot of the stuff y'all saw me do back in the day with the old underground mixtape stuff or even the XXL freshman cover and being on the BET Hip Hop Awards. A lot of that stuff I didn't take the time to truly enjoy because I was always stressing about something or I always was being hard on myself about how I could have did this better. This time around, I'm a different person because I want to enjoy every moment. I want to be at peace. I want to be present in every moment. Like I'm not thinking about nothing else right now except this conversation we having. Back in the day, if we was doing this, it would be a million things on my mind. It would be that wouldn't allow me to enjoy this conversation. You know what I'm saying? This version of our Varsity Music Group is everything I ever worked for. And I just look at it as, like I say, a rebirth. And I feel so good about it and being able to take everything I learned and give it to younger artists. It represents not giving up. It represents believing in yourself. It represents all of that because it was times that I definitely didn't know if I was going to keep going because this journey can be so hard. But the new version of all Varsity Music, man, to me, it just represents a rebirth and it just represents me just being at peace and happy with my journey, man.
I got a question. When did you get stronger with your spiritual journey?
Yeah.
That would be, I think it was like 2018. It was 2018 that it hit me. What I learned is, God, boy, this is going to be crazy. We about to go to church.
It's cool.
You know what I'm saying? What I've come to realize is the more faith you put in the creative source, which is love, the more it repays your faith by giving you everything you ever dreamed of times 10. When you keep putting faith in man to deliver things that only God could give you, you'll never get it because God, like, I want my credit. Why are you giving other people credit for that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you working hard trying to get a new house or whatever, and you think you're putting so much on your boss at your job to give you a raise, right? You like, my boss ain't giving me this raise. My boss, man, your boss don't got the power to do that. God got the power to do that. God, like, man, I could have the boss fire you and then you end up getting a better job that help you get the house quicker. That's what I've learned about spirituality. So around 2018 is when I started experiencing that, where it was like, yo, the more you lean on faith, the more the Most High is going to make sure you get where you're supposed to go times 10. And the thing is, most people fear faith. You know, they fear jumping off that bridge without the parachute. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes, I'll wrap it up like this on that when you ask about my spirituality. God can't show you a miracle if you don't put yourself in situations where he has to create a miracle for you. If you always playing it safe, then how can God like, well, you don't need me then because you playing it safe. You playing the war. God, if you want a miracle to happen from the Most High, you have to jump off that bridge with no parachute so the hand can come and save you. And you be like, oh, snap. I didn't know you could do that. And God like, yeah, I can do more than that if you let me. So a lot of times we have to allow the creative source to give us those miracles that we praying for. But a lot of us be putting fear over faith when it should be the opposite, man. So it was 2018.
That's good. That was deep, man. That was beautiful.
Especially when you're living in your purpose. I think that's a big thing. We had this conversation on a previous episode. It's kind of like you feel like the creator, he guides you in a certain type of way when you one of the chosen ones. And I think all of us are chosen ones. But when I feel like when you're living in your purpose, that's when he start to move you. Like, you're not supposed to be there. Like, we talk about it like it's been so many opportunities and things that you wanted to go through. Like, man, they promised me that, but it didn't go through. I was supposed to have him, but it didn't go through. It's like, man, God, no. Like, you wasn't ready for that. Mm-hmm. You can't get that. And it's like, dang, why can't you just let me have it? He be like, no. And it's just like where somebody else might get it instantly. All those opportunities that constantly fall down because he like, nope, that's not the path that you said you wanted. You said you wanted this. No, you can't have that. I'm gonna get you to where you expect. And then when you finally get it, like, I get it now. I wasn't ready for it yet.
Yes.
I wasn't ready for that yet. And it all makes sense.
Yes, man. We be trying to outthink the creator and we can't. Yeah. We got to just be cool with the journey. I'll tell you a funny little story, man. So it was a couple weeks ago. I was in Florida. A friend of mine wanted me to ride a horse, right? And she was so adamant about wanting me to ride this horse. Like, you need to learn how to ride a horse. You should ride a horse. But I'm scared, letting fear outweigh faith, right? I don't want to get on no horse. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I'm from Flint. I ain't never got on no horse, right? And she was going so hard. She like, man, I can call the people right now, man. They got a little trail. Long story short, man, I go shoot the video with Joey Cool. Guess what's in the video?
Yeah, the horse.
A horse.
Yeah.
So now, because I didn't go in Florida and be around horses, when I'm at the video, I'm all uncomfortable around the horse. But had I went, you feel me? So sometimes we just have to allow things to happen, even when we don't understand. We can only see in front of our face. The Creator see in front of us, years ahead of us. So it was like, man, just let faith override fear, man, for real.
We're going to tag all your social medias in the description. But for those who listening, can you tell them where to find you?
Yeah, at Jon Connor Music is pretty much all of my social media, man. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of that. I think I got a TikTok. Yeah, I got a TikTok, but I ain't mastered TikTok yet.
Yeah, we just created a TikTok too. Trying to figure out how to operate it and do all that.
Me too. But it's at Jon Connor Music. And follow at All Varsity Music. Is it All Varsity Music Group or All Varsity Music, Lindsay? It's and follow All Varsity Music, which is my company. And Jon Connor Music, man. That's everything on my social media, man. And just released the tape, Best in the World Delirium. Click the links on any of my social media and it'll take you to the tape. Best in the World Delirium is out now. And then yesterday just dropped the all original joint produced by me, To Whom It May Concern, which kind of tells my story for all of y'all who don't know, and for those that have been following my journey, it catches y'all up to speed. And we setting it off for the new wave of AVM, man, and I'm looking forward to just continuing giving y'all music, man.
Man, I love it, man. Y'all tune in next week for another episode of Breaking the Machine. Appreciate y'all for constantly tuning in, man. The hometown here of Jon Connor, Breaking the Machine. It's a wrap. You dig?
You dig?
You dig.